The day his mother breathed her last, the cold wind, like shattered ice, seeped into the house. Even hot water couldn't be heated in the dilapidated hut. Little Bean clutched his mother's icy hand, hearing her last, indistinct words. "Go find your father. He's in the county town. His surname is Lynn." Before she could finish, her head lolled to the side, and she breathed her last. His younger sister, Maisway, trembled with fear. Little Bean gritted his teeth, not shedding a tear. He took off his mother's patched, old cotton-padded coat and wrapped it tightly around his sister. He gathered some thin planks and nailed them together to make a makeshift coffin. He dug a deep pit in the hill behind the village and buried his mother himself. "Father, and bring my sway to live." Just as dawn broke, Little Bean, carrying half a dry cornbread and my sway on his back, left the village. The villagers felt a pang of sorrow. Some offered him a broken umbrella, an old woman gave him a pair of old shoes with exposed toes, and someone pointed the way to the county town. The Lin family was a wealthy household, and the patriarch, surnamed Lin, was the most powerful. After less than 2 days, they ran out of cornbread, his pulse weakened, and he was too hungry to walk. He sat by the roadside and wept loudly. Little Bean carried his younger sister into a dilapidated temple, picked up rotten vegetable leaves from the ground, wiped them clean with his sleeve, and fed them to her. He himself squatted in the corner, gnawing on dry, hard clods of earth, deceiving his sister that they were sweet cakes. Stiff, and could only slowly stand up by pulling each other along. When they crossed the first river, the water was cold and swift. Little Bean carried his sister on his back, wading step by step. The water was waist-deep, chilling them to the bone. After reaching the shore, their lips were purple, and they couldn't breathe for a long time. As they crossed the second river, they encountered an old cart driver carrying goods. Sway, well-behaved, massaged the driver's legs and shoulders. The driver sighed, saying, "Your father has long you. Master Lin just married the daughter of a wealthy man from the county last month. Red silk lined the street, and the dowry was several cartloads. He's incredibly wealthy now. Why would he recognize a country bumpkin forgotten?" Little Bean's heart sank instantly. My Sway looked up at him and asked, "Dad, do you remember Mom?" The driver didn't answer but handed him a roasted sweet potato. When they arrived at the Lin mansion, the magnificent gate was taller than the village stage. Stone lions glared, and servants brandished sticks, looking menacing. Little Bean had barely taken a step forward when a servant kicked him to the ground, yelling, "You wild child, get out of here." My Sway rushed over and hugged her brother, crying, "We're looking for Dad. My dad is Master Lin." The servants became even angrier and raised their hands to strike. At this moment, a stewardess dressed in silk came out of the mansion and stared at the two children for a long time. She noticed a resemblance between their features and those of Master Lin and said in a deep voice, "Come in with me." The two were led to a side courtyard, where 2 cold steamed buns were thrown at them. They waited for 3 days. The people in the courtyard were well dressed, but they looked at them with disdain, avoiding them as if they were dirty things. On the 4th day, Master Lin finally agreed to see them. Little Bean led Wheat Ear into the main hall. The man wore a long robe, had a fair complexion, and resembled Little Bean in features, but his eyes were filled with unfamiliarity and disgust. "Who dares to cause trouble in my house?" Little Bean recited his mother's last words verbatim and took out his mother's treasured old wooden plaque engraved with the character Lin, a keepsake left to his mother by Master Lin. Master Lin's expression changed slightly upon seeing the plaque. Just as he was about to speak, a richly dressed woman with a large pregnant belly emerged from the back hall, his newlywed wife. The woman frowned, her tone sharp. Where did this dirty child come from? Get him out of here. Don't dirty my place. Master Lin immediately helped his wife up, coaxing her gently. He's here to extort money. I'll have him thrown away right away. He then gave the steward a look, who pulled out 2 taels of silver and threw them on the ground, telling him to take the money and leave quickly. If you dare to cause trouble again, I'll break your legs. Little Bean looked at the silver on the ground, then at Master Lin's evasive eyes, and instantly understood everything. He didn't pick up the silver, but pulled my sway along and turned to leave. At the door, my sway turned back, crying, "Father, Mother is gone. We just want to find you." Master Lin stiffened, but didn't turn back. Once outside the Lin residence, Little Bean couldn't hold back any longer, crouching in a corner, sobbing uncontrollably. My sway tugged at his sleeve, whispering, "Brother, he's not father, is he?" Little Bean wiped away his tears, hugged his sister tightly, and said, "He doesn't recognize us. We'll live on our own." The two wandered. Passing a street corner in the county town, they suddenly saw a group of mischievous children throwing stones at a blind old man and stealing his only half-sack of rice. Xiao Duzi immediately rushed over, pushed the children away, helped the old man to the roadside, and handed him his only broken bowl. Took in homeless children. Xiao Duzi thanked the old man and led my sway to the canteen. The canteen manager, seeing the 2 children's pitiful yet diligent nature, took them in. During the day, Xiao Duzi chopped firewood and carried water, while my sway picked vegetables and washed clothes. Had invited them. Xiao Duzi felt uneasy and followed them to the neighboring household's courtyard, only to discover that the old lady before him was the blind old man he had just rescued. It turned out that the old lady was the neighbor's biological mother. She had gone blind in her youth and was placed in a separate courtyard by her son, rarely leaving the house. The old lady held the 2 children's hands, weeping uncontrollably, offering to become their manager and give them half of the neighbor's property. But Zayaduzi shook his head, refusing the old lady's offer. He said, "Grandma, my sister and I don't want money or anything from the mansion. Mother told me to find father so we could have a new husband, but he doesn't want us. My sister and I can earn our own living. We're content." Unable to persuade him, the old lady secretly sent money and food to the kitchen and asked a doctor to care for the children, keeping it a secret from Zayaduzi. Zayaduzi was diligent and kind-hearted, and the owner of a nearby grain shop took him in as an apprentice, teaching him bookkeeping and business management. He studied diligently and treated people honestly, quickly gaining the boss's trust. My sway also learned to sew, his skills improving rapidly. His gentle nature made him popular with everyone. Later, Master Lin's wife, relying on her family's influence, squandered money and absconded with most of the neighboring family's fortune, causing their business to plummet and them to ruin. Master Lin, destitute, remembered Xiao Duzi and my sway and sent money and clothes, hoping to reclaim his children and atone for his mistake. Xiao Duzi returned everything untouched, asking someone to convey a message. My mother taught me that one should live an honest life. I shouldn't take a penny that isn't earned by myself. Master Lin remained silent for a long time after hearing this, keeping the old wooden plaque close to his body, and never dared to visit again. Years passed, and through his own efforts, Xiao Duzi opened a small grain shop, operating with integrity and honesty, and his life gradually became more comfortable. She married her daughter, my sway, to an honest and hard-working young man. The couple lived harmoniously and peacefully. The brother and sister often helped the poor and orphaned children, earning them a good reputation in the county. When asked if he hated his father from back then, Xiao Duzi simply shook his head, saying he neither hated nor resented him, believing that relying on himself was the safest thing to do. One cannot choose one's birth, nor can one escape hardship, but as long as one upholds integrity, acts with conscience, and lives by one's own hands, even the hardest road can lead to a better life.